What if you could actually watch a place completely reinvent itself? Because that's kind of what's grabbing my attention right now in Whitestown, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, imagine this, where old junkyard, Rex Inc., used to sit. They're now building something called Rex Park.
Rex Park, huh? Interesting name choice.
Right. And that park itself, it's just one piece of this huge, like, $135 million project. It's called Mower Commons, just a total transformation.
And, for anyone interested in how communities grow, how they change economically, this Waystown example is really, really illuminating.
How so?
Well, it's a perfect case study, really. A community spots this underused space and just proactively decides to shape its future. And, well, that naturally kicks up a lot of interesting opportunities.
Absolutely. So to really get into what this all means, we're leaning on some insights from Cara Conde.
The real estate agent.
Exactly. She's a commercial real estate agent right there in Whitestown, and she's shared her view on why Rex Park is, well, such a big deal, especially if you look at it through that economic and commercial real estate lens.
Okay, so our goal for this deep dive, then, is basically to unpack Rex Park. What is it? Where are they with development? And I think most importantly, how's it expected to boost Whitestown's economy and really reshape the commercial property scene there?
Okay, let's dig in then. What exactly is Rex Park? I mean, the name definitely gives you a clue about where it came from, doesn't it?
It really does. So Rex Park is going to be a public park covering somewhere between, say, 12 and 14 acres.
Okay.
Its location is pretty key. It's right along Indianapolis Road, just west of the I-65 interchange.
Gotcha.
And yeah, you nailed it with the name. It's a direct nod to its past. It's being built right on the old Rex Inc. automobile junkyard site. That place operated for decades.
Yeah.
From 51 right into the early 2000s.
Wow, that's quite the change junkyard to a brand new public park. Talk about a change of scenery.
It really is a remarkable transformation. And it's important to see Rex Park not just on its own, but as part of a bigger picture.
Right. The Mara Commons thing you mentioned.
Exactly. It's a central piece of that 100-acre Mar Commons mixed-use development. A pretty major project led by Millhouse. They're a well-known developer out of Indianapolis.
Okay, Bill House. So when Rex Park finally opens up, what are people actually going to find there? What sort of features, amenities are planned?
Well, the plans seem really community-driven based on feedback they got.
Yeah.
They're planning a pavilion and a central plaza area.
Okay, like a gathering spot?
Yeah, you can imagine that becoming a real hub. Then for active folks, they're putting in basketball and pickleball courts.
Pickleball, of course.
You got to have pickleball now, right? Plus a playground for kids and even a splash pad, which will be great in the summer.
Oh, yeah, families will love that. Anything else planned?
Well, interestingly, they've also got a sledding hill planned, which
Wow.
is, a nice touch for Indiana winters.
Huh, that is thoughtful.
Beyond that, the usual suspects. Walking paths, picnic shelters for, outdoor meals, and dedicated sports fields, too. It really seems like they're aiming for a park with something for pretty much everyone. All ages, different interests.
Sounds like a fantastic addition for the town. So the big question, when can Whitestown folks actually start using all this?
The current timeline has Rex Park opening sometime between late 2025 and early 2026, so not too far off now.
Okay, late 2025, early 2026. Good to know. So we know what it will be. What's the status now? Where are things currently with the development?
Right, so the actual construction, digging dirt and all that for Rex Park kickoff in 2025. That lines up with the opening time frame we just mentioned.
Makes sense.
But, given it was an auto junkyard for so long, a really critical first step was the environmental cleanup, the remediation.
Ah, yeah, that's crucial. You can't just throw down some grass seed on an old junkyard site.
Exactly right. And fortunately, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, IDEM, they were key here.
The state agency.
Yeah, they handle the environmental oversight. They issued what's called a certificate of completion back in late 2022.
Okay.
And that certificate basically confirmed that, yep, the necessary cleanup work was done correctly, which, cleared the path for the park development to actually move forward safely.
That's really good to hear.
Mm.
Now, Rex Park isn't the only thing going up on this land, right? You mentioned an aquatic facility, too.
That's right. Right next door to where Rex Park is taking shape, there's a $20 million aquatic facility also under construction.
20 million.
Yeah. And that's actually the first phase of the bigger Mara Commons development. It's also supposed to open in 2025.
Okay, so that's coming even sooner.
Seems like it. And what's really interesting, I think, is how it's being funded.
Oh.
It's through tax increment financing TIF, and specifically without raising property taxes for the local residents.
Okay, TIF funding. That sounds like a smart way to handle a big community project like that. For anyone maybe not familiar, can you quickly break down what TIF actually is?
Sure thing. So tax increment financing, TIF, it's basically a tool communities can use.
Yeah.
The idea is that the new property tax money generated by development in a specific area, the TIF district,
Right, the increments.
exactly, that extra tax revenue gets plowed right back into that same area.
Right.
So as more commons gets built and property values hopefully go up, the additional tax money that comes from those higher values is used to pay for things like the aquatic center.
Instead of just going into the town's general fund.
Precisely. So it lets them invest in infrastructure, amenities, you name it, without directly hitting existing property owners with higher tax bills,
Mm?
which, is usually a pretty popular approach.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, that makes sense. And this aquatic facility, it's just the start of more commons, isn't it?
Absolutely. That whole first phase of More Commons is a big investment, like $64 million total.
64 million. Okay.
So besides the aquatic center, it includes plans for a 125-room hotel, 0.228 apartment units, and 75 for rent townhouses. Construction on all that started back in March of this year, 2025, and it's expected to run through 2027. So it's a multi-year build-out.
That is a really significant mixed-use project taking shape. Now, I seem to remember reading somewhere that maybe some residents initially had concerns about the first plans for Murrah Commons. How does adding Rex Park fit into that? Does it address those concerns?
That's a good point to bring up. Yes, there were definitely some early discussions, some concerns raised by residents about whether the original Mara Commons plan put enough emphasis on recreational spaces for the community.
Okay.
So bringing Rex Park into the mix is really a direct answer to that feedback. By setting aside a good chunk of that land specifically for park amenities, it complements the aquatic facility nicely. It provides a much better balance, between the residential, commercial, and recreational parts of the whole development. Probably goes a long way toward addressing those earlier concerns.
Right, makes sense. Okay, so we've got this major park, a big mixed-use development happening side by side. Let's zoom out a little. How is all this, specifically Rex Park, expected to help Whitestown grow economically?
Well, one of the biggest things to think about is just the sheer increase in foot traffic.
Right.
Both Rex Park and that new aquatic facility, they're expected to be major draws. You'll get families, visitors from nearby towns, and especially people involved in youth sports teams, parents, spectators.
Sports tournaments and things.
Exactly. All these people converging on that Indianapolis Road area creates a ton of potential for local businesses nearby.
For sure. More people means more potential customers. Simple as that.
Hmm.
And the more commons development itself, that just adds another layer, right?
Absolutely. The hotel brings in visitors who need places to eat, shop. The new retail and office spaces within Mora Commons mean more businesses and employees in the area every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And you connect this to what's already been happening in Whitestown. I mean, the town's population growth has been pretty stunning.
It really has. The numbers are kind of mind-blowing, aren't they?
They really are. I mean, to go from over 3,000 people in 2010 to more than 11,000 by 2021, that's huge growth. It made Whitestown, Indiana's second fastest growing community.
Wow.
And by November of last year, the estimate was already around 13,000. Projections are looking at maybe 30,000 within the next decade or so.
30,000.
Yeah. That kind of rapid growth naturally creates massive demand for all sorts of goods and services. And it's not just happening randomly, right? Whitestown's location is great near major roads.
Right, the highway access.
Plus, it's got a reputation for good schools, maybe a bit more affordable than living right in Indy. It just pulls in families and businesses.
And it's not just people moving in, is it? That big logistics park nearby plays a role too, the Indianapolis Logistics Park Northwest.
Correct. That's another big piece. Adding over 700,000 square feet of industrial space there, it's just another strong signal of the economic momentum Whitestown has right now.
So Rex Park fits into all this how?
Well, Rex Park, in that context, it really acts as a catalyst. It takes this piece of land that wasn't adding much value and turns it into this vibrant destination. It makes life better for the people already living there, sure, but it also acts like an amenity, a draw that can pull in even more investment and development.
Okay, so with all this happening, the park, Mara Commons, the population boom, it sounds like the commercial real estate market in Whitestown must be pretty hot right now.
No, dynamic is a good word for it. Maybe even hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the development of Rex Park and Mara Commons is definitely lighting a fire under the demand for commercial real estate there, especially, like we said, in that key area along I-65 and Indianapolis Road.
So, what kinds of businesses do you think are best positioned to really thrive in this changing landscape?
Well, I mean, businesses that directly serve the people using the park and living in those new houses and apartments seem like a natural fit.
Makes sense.
Think about it, cafes, right? For park goers grabbing coffee, ice cream shops for after the splash pad.
Definitely ice cream shops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
General retail stores for everyday stuff, fitness centers too, tapping into that active lifestyle the park encourages. These kinds of places stand to benefit directly from all the extra people around.
Yeah.
And then, professional offices might find the spot more appealing too. You've got the new hotel nearby, plus all the residents in the apartments and townhouses coming in that first phase of more commons.
And it's not just the park and the housing making the area attractive for businesses, right? You mentioned infrastructure improvements too.
Yeah, absolutely. That new I-65 exit 131 that opened back in 2023, that was a game changer for accessibility to this specific part of Whitestown.
Right. Easier to get on and off the highway.
Exactly. Makes it much more convenient, much more attractive for businesses thinking about locating there. But, as Cara Conde points out in her insights, it also means the market's getting competitive.
Ah, okay. So finding the right spot might take some effort.
Yeah, navigating it effectively, locking down the right location, it probably helps to have some local expertise, someone who really knows the market dynamics there.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So let's zero in on those business opportunities right near Rex Park. We touched on some, but maybe dive a bit deeper. What kinds of ventures could really flourish right there?
Well, if you think about the core vibe of Rex Park, it's really family friendly,
Right.
right?
Well, definitely seems that way.
So businesses that cater to families, to people enjoying those park amenities, they have huge potential. Could be anything from selling snacks and drinks, maybe some basic sporting goods, or offering other family-focused services. Those seem like they'd see strong demand.
And with the sports fields and courts, fitness and sports related businesses seem obvious too.
Exactly. Fitness centers that can draw from the growing number of active residents, plus people specifically using the park's sports facilities, they could build a really solid local customer base.
Makes sense.
And just generally, as that residential population keeps climbing thanks to more commons and other nearby growth, you're just going to see more demand for all kinds of retail stores and everyday services.
What about those professional offices you mentioned? How do they benefit from being near Rex Park specifically?
Well, the influx of new residents, right,
Yeah.
in the apartments, the townhouses, plus people staying at the new hotel and more commons,
Yeah.
that creates this ready-made market for different professional services.
Like doctors, dentists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Doctors, dentists, maybe accountants, insurance agents, businesses, where being close to where people live and stay is a big plus. Convenience matters.
True.
And just broadly, you can't ignore the high visibility and easy access that location offers, right near a major interstate like I-65.
Mm.
That benefits almost any kind of business.
Okay. Now, Cara Conde, whose insights we've been referencing, she's clearly a key player in Whitestown's commercial real estate scene. Tell us a bit more about her background, her expertise.
Yeah, Cara Conde is definitely positioned as a leading commercial real estate agent, focusing specifically on the Whitestown market. She's got over 10 years of experience working right there locally. So she has this really deep understanding of the market's nuances, the opportunities in this rapidly changing town.
And she knows these big projects well.
Her expertise is particularly relevant when you talk about these transformative projects like Rex Park and Moore Commons. She's seen as a really valuable resource for businesses looking to, set up shop or expand in Whitestown.
So if a business owner is listening and thinking, maybe I should look at space near Rex Park, how could Cara Conde help them out?
Well, according to her perspective, she can offer really valuable help navigating that Whitestown market. She assists businesses in finding the right spot, whether it's retail space, an office location, or some other type of commercial property near the park and more commons.
Okay.
Her knowledge of what's available, the zoning rules, the potential of different spots, it can be a huge leg up for businesses trying to capitalize on all this new development.
And she has a website where people can find out more.
Yes, her site is caraconde.com, caraconde.com. It's presented as a pretty comprehensive resource for anyone wanting to explore commercial real estate options in Whitestown. The article we looked at specifically points people interested in space near Rex Park to her website to get started.
And the material also mentions some specific qualifications she has, her approach.
That's right. It noted she holds certifications as a negotiation expert and also as a luxury home marketing specialist, which, highlights her skills in making deals and understanding different parts of the property market.
Okay.
And apparently she uses digital technology quite a bit in her real estate work, which likely means efficient marketing and good communication with clients.
Got it. Now, the source material also had one of those people also ask sections, the quick summary questions. What were the main takeaways from that part? Did it reinforce what we've been saying?
Yeah, pretty much. The People Also Ask section basically hit the highlights we've already covered. It listed the planned amenities for Rex Park again: pavilion, courts, playgrounds, splash pads, sledding hill, paths, shelters, sports fields, all that.
Okay.
It also repeated the expected opening times: Rex Park in late 2025 or early 2026, and the aquatic facility sometime in 2025.
And did it touch on why Whitestown is hot for commercial real estate?
Yes, exactly. It summed up the key reasons: the town's significant rapid population growth, the positive impact of these new developments like Rex Park and Mara Commons in creating a more vibrant community, and the importance of infrastructure upgrades like that new I-65 exit, making the area more appealing for businesses.
Right.
And of course, I mentioned Cara Conde again as a well-regarded, experienced commercial real estate agent for that specific area.
Okay. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what would you say are the really crucial takeaways here about Rex Park and its impact?
Well, I think the main points are Rex Park is a really positive, major transformation for Whitestown. It takes a former industrial site and turns it into a valuable public space.
Yeah, the junkyard to park story.
Exactly. And this development, being a key piece of the bigger Mara Commons project, is acting as a serious catalyst. It's driving both economic growth and continued population increases in town.
Okay.
And the result, we're seeing a whole wave of new commercial real estate opportunities popping up, especially, like we've said, for businesses that can really cater to that growing residential base and all the visitors drawn to the park and the new pool.
And for our listeners, especially those tuned into local economic development, community change, this Whitestown story really drives home how a town can strategically rethink its existing spaces.
Hmm.
Find ways to generate new opportunities and just boost its overall appeal.
Yeah,
It really shows how interconnected everything is: the housing growth, providing great recreational spots, and then seeing a vibrant commercial sector bloom alongside it.
it really does. And it maybe leaves you with an interesting question to ponder, doesn't it? As communities keep changing and evolving, what other maybe unexpected spaces within them have that hidden potential? Spaces that could be reimagined to drive growth and create totally new opportunities for everyone.
That's a great point.
It's just a good reminder that progress isn't always about inventing something brand new out of thin air. Sometimes the biggest impact comes from just creatively breathing new life into what's already there.